All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 154-pound division, and we're 168-pound division, where Terence Crawford had a little bit of a setback in his hopes. As it appears, Canelo Alvarez has now the perfect excuse not to fight him. And one of the excuses is going to be that not a lot of people are going to call for it because of what took place this week between Terence Crawford and Israel Madmarov. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to share a rare bit of inside information shared with me, and it is related to Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford's next fight. And word on the street is Terence Crawford's going to have to fight Errol Spence Jr. or Jermell Ennis because he ain't getting the Canelo Alvarez fight after his performance with Israel Madmarov or Madrimov in his fight that took place this Saturday, August 3rd in Las Vegas. But before I get into the details, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you're a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you so much for your continued support. Makes a huge difference to the channel. Shout out Barbara D. Shout out Matteo. Let's talk about it. So Lil Birdie told me, man, that Terence Crawford is in a rock and a hard place. That he has a belt at 154 pounds, but he's dreaming of a fight with Canelo Alvarez at 168 pounds. You have DAZN network talking about the fight after his fight with Israel Madrimov, and a whole lot of people thinking, hey, man, this could be the big mega fight for Terence Crawford. We think Terence Crawford can win the fight. This was all going on before the fight with Israel Madrimov, but after the fight with Israel Madrimov, water gets poured on it because Terence Crawford doesn't look like he's up to the task for a guy like Canelo Alvarez. If you can have the difficulties that you're having with Israel Madrimov at 154 pounds, a full 14 pounds below where Canelo Alvarez fights usually, and a full 21 pounds below where Terence Crawford has fought in the past and won a title against Sergey Kovalev at light heavyweight. So my understanding is that people are still not particularly amped. That team is still not particularly amped about the fight, that the performance was not spectacular, and that it very well will not suit Canelo Alvarez to beat Terence Crawford because Terence Crawford is too small. You saw Terence in the ring with a guy like Israel Madrimov at 154 pounds. Israel Madrimov is a very good fighter, without a doubt, put on a very good performance. But you could see in the fight with Terence and Israel Madrimov that Terence Crawford did land some very big shots that at 147 pounds would have might have stopped some of the people that he fought there, might have stopped everybody that he had stopped. But those same punches land on Israel Madrimov and nothing happens. Israel Madrimov, I think, may have got buzzed one time during that fight, but that was it. However, those very clean punches did land for Terence Crawford. I remember specifically a very nice check left hook that Madrimov walked into. Looked very similar to a right, maybe believe it was a right hook. Looked very similar to the same one that dropped Errol Spence, that dropped Kell Brook, that dropped Sean Porter, that stopped Jeff Horn. these things have taken place. Now, the other side of it, though, is that, after a couple fights, Terence Crawford may be strong and fully set for 154 pounds. But the question is, how many fights is that going to take for him to do that? At 147, he looked like he got stronger, as he was at 147, but it took a while for that to be the case. He looked like he was in against a much bigger guy against Jeff Horn, but by the next fight came around, everything was settled. Maybe that'll be the case at 154 pounds as well. But the difference is that's 154 pounds. That's not 168 pounds. And Canelo Alvarez is fully adapted to 168 pounds. And you saw what he did to the 154-pound champion, Jermell Charlo, who moved up there to fight him. And quite honestly, Terence Crawford in that fight with Israel Madrimov didn't look like he had any more power than Terence Crawford, than Jermell Charlo does. Doesn't look like he's a bigger puncher at 154, at least to date, as Jermell Charlo is. And then also, there is that elephant in the room, the one with the switched gloves. Now, again, this is a second in 3 fights where Terence Crawford has, according to reports, has his gloves blow up in the locker room, and he has to wind up replacing them. He replaces the gloves, comes out, and all of a sudden his power's not there anymore. Makes people wonder about those gloves, and not saying that the gloves are loaded or he took padding out. Maybe they're just old worn gloves that he really likes to fight. He likes to fight in extra worn gloves that are worn to the point where they may bust in the locker room. That probably is not going to be allowed against Canelo Alvarez either. And then so you may even have Terence Crawford handicapped even further if the way that he massages his gloves have anything to do with his power. But all around, not a lot of screaming for that fight, which means Terence Crawford's got other options, man. The 3 fights, there's 3 fighters that he can fight, that he should fight. My personal opinion, the number 1 guy that he should fight if he's going to stay at 154 pounds is Jermell Charlo. For me, Jermell Charlo. He's the king of that 154-pound division. And in order to get past, maybe to get to Canelo Alvarez, beating Jermell Charlo more convincingly than Canelo Alvarez beat him may get him there. But the other person there is obviously the rematch with Errol Spence, or the guy at 154 that said 147 that said he'll come up to fight Terence. Jaron Ennis. And that looks like it could potentially be a tall task for him as well with Jermell, Jaron Ennis. But at the end of the day, though, Terence Crawford beat Israel Madrimov. He's now a 154-pound champion, now a champion in his 4th division. And we're going to see what happens with him next, man. I think it's going to be one of those 3 fights, though. But from what I'm hearing, it's probably not going to be Canelo Alvarez, because Canelo Alvarez can make the same amount of money fighting somebody that is like a Edgar Berlanga. Good luck on getting him to take that chance with Terence Crawford. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.